Okay, thank you so much. Good evening, everybody, and thank you for attending this presentation today. My name is Rania Al-Maghrabi, and I am talking to you from Egypt. And it's my pleasure to be talking to the Pan African DMC conference for the second time this year. So I also want to thank the organizers of this conference for allowing me this opportunity. And I know it has been a long day for you. You must be exhausted now, and I hope my talk will be easy for you at the end of today's program. Well, the title of the presentation is Professional Certificates versus Academic Education in Light of Market Needs. And the key point of the discussion is the value of professional certificates available commercially from several institutes in contrast to academic degrees and how the job market is affected. Um, can you see the agenda slide now? The agenda of the talk goes through the following points. Definition and opposition of the two concepts, pros and cons of each type, implications in the job market, and credibility metrics of the commercial certificates. We attempted to address questions like how sufficient are commercial professional certificates, as a designation of qualification and knowledge of an individual. And can commercial professional certificates be considered as equal education opportunity? And are the two paths, the academic path and the professional certification path, are complementary to each other? So let's move on to the definition and opposition part. This is the first point in the agenda. What we refer to by professional certificates is the professional development certificates available from associations and companies that focus on serving the community of a certain profession. Usually, such certificates would measure understanding and or compliance to the professional standards developed and published by these institutions. For example, like the BMB certificate from the BMI and the related to the understanding of the BIMBOK standard, and similar certificates from other institutions like AXLOS, like IBMA, just to mention a few of the most popular in the project management field. Actually, we are not going to assess the value of a certain certificate or an institution in this discussion, because this would require a standalone analysis. But we are addressing the sub-subject of the commercial professional certificates in general. On the other hand, academic programs are the undergraduate or postgraduate studies that take around 2 to 4 years on average to complete. So that students acquire knowledge in many subjects related to the discipline of study, like for example the project management tracks in business administration programs, and these programs prepare graduates to enter the job life as specialists in their field. Such programs are normally offered by universities worldwide. So this is what we mean by each of the two terms. Talking about the knowledge base of each type, the professional certificates are developed on the basis of standards that are as well as also developed and maintained over years by experts in the field. And this is under administration of the owner institution. And these standards are made available for review and contribution from the wider community of professionals. It's with international scope in general, despite that the owner institution could be governed by the regulations of the country where the company is incorporated. And although in many cases these institutions are registered as commercial companies, they are in general viewed as non-profit entities. About the knowledge base of the academic programs, these programs are conducted in universities by academic staff with knowledge developed accumulatively and collaboratively and in-depth study of each individual subject in the field. Academic study is ideally not only theoretical, but includes the student's practice of many assignments and research papers during study. And in essence, universities are non-profit organizations, except in the case of private universities. And they are ranked by both nationally and internationally. And the students around the world can enroll in local or abroad studies. These two types of education are different by far. But what we are concerned with here is analyzing them together to look at the reflections on the job market of each path. The original normal path for education is the academic path. The commercialized professional certificates are not considered an alternative in any way. However, these professional certificates can be complementary to academic studies to learn specialized knowledge in some field that's not your major in academic specialization. It also offers an additional opportunity when the academic study is not affordable. After all, the institutions offering these professional certificates would require some level of academic background, along with a number of years of practical experience as a prerequisite when you apply for these certificates. For example, I am personally graduate with computer science major, and I have postgraduate studies in that major also, but I learned managerial subjects from such commercial certificates, where you study a book and take an exam to get certified. But I later enriched my study with academic degrees like enrolling in Master of Business Administration program, which really was enriching and expanded my knowledge. So it's a point of continual education. The bottom line here is that, in my opinion, the value of academic degrees is much outweighing that of the professional certificates. But these professional certificates are valued in the job market, probably overvalued than their actual worth. They get their brand image and value from the marketing efforts done by the owner institutions. The next section is about the pros and cons of each type. So let's see where each of them possesses an advantage. We know the purpose of academic degrees is to provide core specialization through extensive study of different branches of a field, while professional certificates can be incremental updates and enhancements in the same field or providing knowledge in a different field. Academic studies are typically long-term programs lasting for multiple years, while professional certificates are usually short-term or part-time training programs for already working people. And because of that, the academic path is considered a slower path to the job market, but more rewarding and future-proof, while the professional certificates are shorter path to the job market for picking low-hanging fruits and quickly land a job opportunity. And of course, academic programs are more costly and may not be affordable for some people to undertake. But actually, this depends on the specific country circumstances, where economy can make a difference in education cost. Professional certificates are in general less costly, and again, economy would define this aspect. For example, exchange rates of foreign currencies in some countries. About completion criteria to receive an academic degree would normally require completing all modules of study before receiving a degree. But for professional certificates, there can be multi-level certificates to acquire an intermediate certificate in shorter terms while progressing towards the top level full certificate if needed. And regarding the commercialization aspect, we find that academic degrees are less liable to abuse for commercial reasons, even in the case of private universities, which demand higher tuition fees than governmental universities, but this is usually within limits and under supervision of the local government to protect competition practices. I see, on the other hand, that professional certificates are more liable to abuse commercially, and actually being abused commercially by the institutions who trade on certificates by promoting a professional image, making use of individuals' desire to enhance their professional status. About the scope of knowledge, the scope of knowledge in academic studies is broad and extending across several subjects related to the field of specialization, with higher degrees available for narrower specialization. Professional certificates, on the other hand, provide specific track, focused knowledge for performing a certain task or role. And that's why graduating with an academic degree is in a certain measure will allow you a wide range of higher paying job opportunities, and the payment salary range goes higher as you earn higher degrees. While the focused study in professional certificates offer opportunity for specific job roles, and if you get a new certificate while you are already working, it can open doors for further promotion to higher ranks as an added advantage when combined with the academic degrees that you already possess. Academic study programs are widely available, but the point of affordability is what can limit the segment of people who can enroll in these programs. This is where professional certificates may provide a new chance to disadvantaged people who missed the chance or didn't or haven't been able to enroll in academic programs, so that they can catch up with the job market. And regarding the global reach of each type, academic study abroad in universities in other countries is available, sometimes even with scholarship support, but it requires physical relocation to the university campus. While professional certificates in most cases are available globally through remote or local training and examination, and relocation is required in very limited situations. Academic degrees awarded from official universities are recognizable worldwide, but recognition of professional certificates is variable among territories, for example, depending on the location and the marketing effort of the owner institution. Okay, now let's move on to the key points of actual implications on of these types of education on the employees and the employers in the job market. In this section, I will comment on research results published in some reports that analyze the needs of the job market. In this first slide, in this diagram, which is quoted from the Employer Research Report by Pearson Education Agency, conducted in the year 2021, the key finding shown in this graph is that 6 in 10 employees, which means 60% of the survey sample, are open to hiring candidates with non-degree certificates. This is increasing from 40% in the year 2019. The graph shows results both in US and UK, where survey was conducted. And actually, most studies I found relevant in this subject are coming from US and UK societies, but they can be considered indicative for where the global trend is in employment and job market in general is going, and it will probably take a similar pattern with different measures within acceptable error limits. So while academic degrees are still important, we see that employers are thinking about alternate credentials. Both types of qualifications are sought after in the job market. For example, it can be a policy of the HR in an organization to require a specific academic major degree, while additional professional studies are viewed as extra advantage. To be realistic, the job market focus in many cases is mainly on what an individual can do rather than their educational background. Like a recent update from Google hiring policies has said. What we see in this graph, the results depicted in this graph, answer to the question about the company attitude regarding the hiring of employees with only non-degree certificate, with no academic degree. So we can see around 60% of respondents are ranging from either already started to hire employees with only non-degree credentials to those who are not currently doing that but open to do in the near future or actively exploring doing so. Take in consideration that many people change their career after graduation from college in order to pursue a totally different profession of their passion. And they compensate that by attending professional training and receiving a professional certificate to build their career. The next slide, and also according to the same research report by Pearson Education Agency in 2021, it was found that employers want to offer training in soft skills like leadership and collaboration. The graph in this slide shows the results related to the question of, in the future, how interested is your organization in offering or supporting a training or course in each of the following skills? And we see lists of soft skills and hard skills. Looking at the skills in this list, we can see the complementary role professional education plays in enabling employers and employees, and highlights the need for continual education. This need is more visible in some fields than in others. For example, fields of high frequency of change like industries related to information technology. The graph in this slide is taken from research report according to a study conducted by the Association of American Colleges and Universities, AAC&U. This finding here is that nearly 90% of employers think that getting a college degree is either definitely or probably worth it. Actually, this finding gives great weight to academic degrees. A ratio of 90% is so high and shows that how academic degrees are the ultimate credentials that employers seek and value and expect from employees. And according to the same study, another finding is at least half of employers view the skills of a liberal education is very important for college graduates. This, in other words, refers to the professional certificates, and included in this list as well are several soft skills and analytical skills. This confirms the idea that professional certificates are complementary to academic degrees and the added value of these certificates. Now, after we understood how the job market is viewing each path, I finally wanted to suggest some metrics that can be used to measure credibility of commercial professional certificates and their owner institutions. These are some metrics that I collected from my past experience, and they are mostly coming from the business part of the equation. When the management team of an institution gives the profitability of the business higher weight over the professional side, and in this case, we can identify the following symptoms. For example, you can notice that they keep releasing new certificates without real need in the community and not serving a professional development purpose, mainly for income generation, like creating new production lines in factories. And based on the same reasoning, they will simply discontinue some certification programs already existing whenever they believe that programs are not financially rewarding, without paying enough attention to the certificate holders who invested their time and effort and money to acquire these certificates. By trusting the institution who released and promoted these certification programs before, there can be serious consequences to discontinuation of certification programs, and if you think about it, the whole issue may be only due to the bad management or misconduct by the institution itself. In addition, another symptom of financially driven certification institutions is that their requirement for recurring payment to maintain a credential that you already acquired. And they demand you to keep paying for lifetime to retain a certification status. And while the need for continual professional development and the requirement for maintenance and renewal of a certificate is acceptable in general, but associating this with the need to keep continually paying is indeed questionable. The next symptom is competitiveness rather than collaboration between institutions out of their desire to prevail in the market. And I witnessed even litigation cases among some of these institutions. Now, if it's about copyright and intellectual property, then of course it is important to protect intellectual rights. But cases are litigation on marketing rights and distribution of the world into territories allowed for one institution or another. And talking about how the commercial professional standards and certificates are developed, we know that beside assigned teams who are appointed and compensated for doing that work, there is a large number of volunteers who devote time and effort for contributing to developing these standards or reviewing them during the development stages. These volunteers are and their desire for getting recognized and giving back to the profession and the community is liable for being abused by such commercial institutions who take advantage of their hard work for the purpose of income generation, as long as there are other symptoms indicating that support the idea of potential abuse by that institution. Finally, to sum up, the value and the need for each type of education is fully appreciated, but the governance is necessary for proprietary institutions who simply trade in professional certificates, and we need to monitor that and put it under control whenever deemed necessary. So thank you for your time and for your attention, and I hope it was useful for you. And we can take comments or questions. We can discuss together if you have any. Thank you so much.